behavior on that video is inexcusable.
They think that he should stay behind bars.
All of them are very apprehensive about their safety if he were to be granted bond.
You knew that a particular drug was being used in drinks.
He's used other inmates' pack numbers.
Everyone's focused on what other celebrities were involved, you know, who's going to be named, who's going to be outed. I'm hoping to file some lawsuits this week.
They should have started worrying when he was beaten. When you start worrying about your mother after the fact.
Diddy just doesn't get it, does he? This man still believes that he has a chance to get out of jail, even though I think we can all agree that he's a flight risk. He has so much money and power that if he was able to get out and get a little bit of freedom, he will be able to go and get out of the country, or at least avoid these charges. And I think you guys can agree with me that these charges are important. This article reads that Diddy is in a New York courtroom fighting to get out of jail on a $50 million bond as he awaits trial, though he'll have to spend at least one more weekend in jail. Now, this is Diddy's fourth attempt to get out of jail after being denied 3 times. You'd think he'd just give up. I kind of feel like this is a strategy from Diddy's lawyers to try to keep posting this bail, asking the judge for it, and then watching them deny it, making slight amendments every time to the bail proposition, but then ultimately getting denied, which then starts to make the judge look bad. I mean, if they've denied it 4 times, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times. I mean, could the lawyer then argue that the judge just isn't reasonable? Diddy's lawyers are putting in the work trying to get this man out. I mean, you must acknowledge their dedication, even comparing Diddy's case to the case of the Abercrombie and Fitch CEO. You guys may have heard that this guy, Mike Jeffries, was arrested for similar crimes to Diddy, making models come into the US to work for Abercrombie, but really to go to these parties and do freaky things. So the lawyer is trying to leverage Mike's case and say, hey man, you know, Mike was actually left out on bail and he has similar crimes to Diddy. Keep in mind that, you know, Diddy is different than Mike. Mike is an older man. Granted, he did some really nasty things and he will serve time for those. I think this is another tactic the lawyer is using to try to confuse the courtroom.
In that courtroom behind me for over an hour where both sides laid out their reasons, the government saying why they think that he should stay behind bars, and then you have his legal team saying that there are other individuals like Mike Jeffries, the former Abercrombie and Fitch CEO that was let out on a $10 million bail last month for the same charge of sex trafficking. The judge has said, listen, I want both sides to write a letter really putting a fine point on your reasons, either why he should stay behind bars or why he should be released. I will review it and give a decision next week.
Now let's talk about this bail package. It's $50 million with his Miami Beach mansion as collateral. So he doesn't have $50 million laying around. If he were to fault on this bail, then they would go and seize his home. Claims he'll have around-the-clock security with no contact with alleged victims or witnesses. However, during the hearing, the judge told Diddy that because the location of his home has a dock, the location would not work, even if there is no boat there. They also discussed other potential home detention options, such as a 3-bedroom apartment in New York City. It's wild to me how many properties that Diddy owns. It just kind of further explains how he was able to operate this sick business model of trafficking people around for years. Now, this is rich because his proposal includes a 24/7 security detail, as well as 2 security guards in the apartment with Diddy and 1 downstairs. He would have access to no phones or internet except to talk to his attorneys, which would be set up by his security. Keep in mind that the security isn't like police or law enforcement. These are independent people that he's paying for. So realistically, it's a company who's being hired. And if they want to please their client, Diddy, they'll ultimately do what Diddy wants, whether that's agreeing to what the judge says and then doing something different behind the scenes. I wouldn't put this past them. The only loyalty they have is to their boss, who would be Diddy. So the security won't stay true to the court. Mark, his lawyer, said there's nothing he'll be able to do to tamper with witnesses, saying there's 0% chance that Diddy would be violent to someone else while on bail. Well, I hope so. What's crazy to me is that Mark is sitting here saying, please let my client out. Nothing will go wrong. He'll have a ton of security. But keep in mind that it doesn't really matter what you say, Mark, because your client's actions speak otherwise. He's already been caught trying to reach out to witnesses or victims. So what would stop him in the free world?
Prosecutors say that Combs has been obstructing justice, Tom, from behind bars, that he's been partaking in 3-way calling, that he's used other inmates' pack numbers. That's a way that they can dial out, and that he has used at least 8 other inmates' pack numbers to make phone calls.
Now, 2 judges, too many, have already concluded that Diddy would pose a threat to the community if released. And his bail attempt last month was denied after a judge raised concerns about Diddy obstructing the investigation and interfering with witnesses, something that he had already been doing behind the scenes in his jail cell. I think this matter is beyond Diddy's own comfortability. He doesn't deserve to be comfortable anymore after what he has done. We need to focus on the victims and their well-being, and while other YouTubers and influencers are being tracked down by private investigators, I must ask myself, I wonder what's happening to the actual victims here. We need to keep them locked up so that they feel safe.
Is your client fearful if Diddy does get out?
As you know, I represent other clients, actual victims who have sued Mr. Combs, Diddy, in civil court, and all of them are very apprehensive about their safety if he were to be granted bond. I am confident in the court. I am sure that the court will remain with their previous decision of no bond. I feel like the judge only gave this let me think about it just to not make it as obvious. But I have all the confidence in the world and the federal court and the state of New York that they will remain keeping Diddy under no bond, and that all of the victims in this case will be able to proceed sooner rather than later.
Now, to really fight for this bail, they're giving a few different reasons why Diddy should be let out. And tell me who the hell thought it would be a good idea to go and challenge the Cassie Hotel video, saying that this has been edited in a way to make Diddy appear more dangerous than he actually is. Now, we all saw the same video clip, that horrific moment where Cassie was attacked by Diddy. And maybe it was edited and spliced, but I don't think it was spliced in any way that made him look even worse. If he wants us to go ahead and review all the footage, you guys know I would love to go and do that, because I don't think there's one moment in there that would make him look like an innocent man. Diddy is accusing federal prosecutors of a dirty pool, claiming they showed the judge an edited version of the Cassie video to make him look more dangerous than he is. Diddy and his attorneys filed a new document ahead of his bail hearing, accusing prosecutors of mischaracterizing and concealing critical facts. They would love it if they could throw that piece of evidence out the door, because that's one of the biggest pieces of evidence that shows that Diddy is this monster, and everyone's seen it. So if Diddy could get it thrown out of the trial, it would be a big win for him. They're claiming the government has a more complete version of the surveillance video, presumably the version the world saw when it was released, but instead tweaked the order of events to offer their most powerful evidence of danger and obstruction. So just a bunch of words to say, hey, y'all, the edit that you did was not cool. You guys made me look bad. Kind of like reality TV, but this is the real world. And I don't think, again, the government is probably trying to get their ducks in order and make him look like a monster, because he is one, but I don't think they have to falsify things to do so.
Diddy's team claims prosecutors presented an edited version of this assault video against then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura to convince a judge he should remain behind bars.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable.
Yeah, so the indictment against Diddy is based on trafficking, things like that. You know, what happened in the video is pure assault. However, it does help to show a course of conduct performed by Diddy, which supports what the government is saying, that he had this pattern to scare people and witnesses.
Now, Diddy insists that the video shows no evidence of a freak-off, but rather a domestic dispute in which he ran down the hall of the hotel to recover his clothes and cell phone. He claims that he did not drag Cassie down the hall or throw a vase at her, yet we saw what we saw. He says the video is a really sad glimpse into a decade-long consensual relationship and no evidence of a coerced freak-off. Diddy's saying that prosecutors are trying to make him seem more dangerous than he is, so the judge will keep him behind bars. Now, there are so many lawsuits being filed against Diddy while he's behind bars. It could be in the hundreds now. But this is interesting because it looks like an anonymous male celebrity files an extortion lawsuit against attorney representing Diddy's accusers. So it looks like there's a celebrity now who is trying to sue someone who is representing the victims of Diddy. An anonymous male celebrity says he's the victim of an extortion scheme and is suing the high-powered Texas attorney who has been representing a bunch of the victims. His name is Tony Busby. We've talked about this guy before. Now, this celebrity filed a lawsuit under the pseudonym John Doe. He's accused Tony and his firm of shamelessly attempting to extort money from him, or he will publicly file a false, horrific allegation against him, essentially saying that maybe that Tony's using this Diddy story and his connection to the victims to really believe these victims and to then go and threaten major celebrities. But also at the same time, maybe this allegation is just. Tony says that he's representing at least 120 victims of Diddy's. He has filed more than a dozen civil lawsuits against him, in some cases accusing Diddy of drugging and harming these victims, some in which are minors. Now, in this letter that Tony Busby received, it looks like attorneys for this anonymous male celebrity say that Tony characterized their famous client as being friends with Diddy based on the fact that these two attended similar events together. So whoever this male celebrity is, they live in LA, they are a big time celebrity, and they've been to plenty of parties with Diddy. So I wonder who it could be. Comment below. What do you guys think? They say these baseless accusations are nothing more than a weapon in a calculated plot to destroy the plaintiff's high profile reputation for profit. It looks like they filed anonymously to avoid any harm to their reputation, though I wonder how anonymous this will remain. I'm thinking, is it Usher? Is it Ashton Kutcher? I mean, I kind of feel like it's Ashton Kutcher. Busby denied the extortion claims against him in an Instagram post, which he wrote, "He won't allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence these survivors. If you are trying to hide your identity and you claim you did nothing wrong, doesn't seem very smart to take this approach. We will address it in due course. And I have confidence with full public disclosure, all of this will sort itself out." So I really appreciate that Tony Busby is not backing down here.
Everyone's focused on what other celebrities were involved. Who's going to be named, who's going to be outed. I'm hoping to file some lawsuits this week.
Now let's switch gears and talk about Courtney Burgess, because this man was very close, allegedly, to Kim Porter, Diddy's ex who mysteriously passed away. We've actually talked about Courtney before and how he released Kim Porter's memoir. Well, it turns out that Diddy's sons aren't happy about this and sent him a cease and desist letter. Diddy's sons came together to send Courtney a cease and desist letter after he started selling Kim Porter's book. They claimed that Courtney is trying to capitalize on their late mother's fame by selling this book titled Kim Porter Tell It All. TMZ asked Courtney about this situation, so let's go ahead and check out that clip together.
So it is Kim Porter's book, but not necessarily some of the stuff with the celebs that were mentioned besides.
It's hers. Nobody touched it.
Oh, so it is her official book.
There are some like mixed reportings on whether he wrote some of it, if he edited it down, or if it's exactly her words.
Yes. Nobody.
And no one touched it.
Nobody altered it. Nothing.
So it's not the copy that the gentleman said that he was selling before. No.
No.
It's two different copies. That one was edited.
Okay, so it looks like there's two different copies. One was edited, one wasn't. Okay, I can kind of get the confusion now.
And we have the original copy.
So you're saying that the other copy was an actual real copy, even though the family said it wasn't?
It was a derivative work.
It was edited. The only way the family say that is because I forgot his name.
Oh my gosh, now I was like, is he about to say something profound?
I'll be sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And besides that, how they know? A lot of stuff their mother did, they didn't know. And I like to see apologize to the mother.
Oh, true. I mean, how would they know? It doesn't seem like they had that close of a relationship with their mother, at least not as close as they do with their father.
And the family for the picture being on front of it.
Right.
You understand? I didn't put it there.
Right.
So, they got to worry about bigger things.
Right.
Than what her diary was. You understand?
Right.
True, they do need to worry about a lot bigger things.
They should have started worrying when he was beating her.
Right.
When you start worrying about your mother after the fact.
Damn, Courtney is now holding back. He said, when are you going to start worrying about your mother? After the fact. Courtney claims that he does have the copyright to the book and alleged that Kim gave him the rights to her intellectual property before her death in 2018. Now, Courtney is a key player here because he's actually a witness within this trial. So he's going to be there in front of the jury telling them everything he knows. Courtney claims that he has a copy of a flash drive that has data related to Kim Porter's book, which was seized in the investigation. He claims that he was actually given 11 flash drives containing at least 8 tapes involving 8 celebrities. Among those were Diddy's alleged victims. Courtney claimed 2 to 3 were minors. Courtney said that when he was working in Atlanta, when Kim was his former associate, she shared the flash drives. He also said that he received an unedited manuscript of her memoir, which is what he released. If we ever do get the details of this trial, I am fascinated to see what Courtney reveals about these people, because he seems like someone who kind of maybe slipped away from Diddy's radar, kind of close to Kim Porter, so he heard things, but not necessarily that close to Diddy. So now he's got so much information because Diddy has killed off, or allegedly has gotten rid or cleaned up some of the other potential witnesses. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you think there's a world where he could get out of jail? Do you think so? I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in a new one soon. Bye, guys.